You know, have you ever stopped and wondered how a machine can actually read a story, or understand a question you ask it, or even write a poem? It honestly feels like magic, doesn't it? Well, today we're going to pull back that curtain, not with a bunch of complicated charts or code, but with a simple story.
So how can we wrap our minds around this? To really understand how it all works, we don't need to look at code. We just need a story. A story about a huge, quiet library, a very special visitor, and, well, a lifetime of learning.
All right, let's start our story. I want you to imagine a place. It's infinite, and it's silent. But it's not a cold, empty silence. It's a patient place. This is the library of all text.
Inside this library is everything that has ever been written. I mean, everything. Every book, every article, every poem, every speech. But here's the thing. None of it is written in words. It's all stored in a secret code, a code of numbers. It holds all of human knowledge, but for now, it's just raw data, just numbers on shelves.
Now, this magical library in our story, it actually has a real name, the LLM, or a large language model. It's this enormous network that's been trained on pretty much all the text you can find on the internet. And for a very, very long time, it was just sitting there, waiting.
Can you imagine that? For decades, it just existed. It had no idea it was a library. All the stories of love and war, all the breakthroughs in science on its endless shelves, there were just patterns of numbers to it. It really was like a brain just full of memories, but with absolutely no way to remember any of them.
But then, one day, something changed. A light appeared. A simple, focused beam of light that was about to change everything for the library, forever.
And this visitor, this little beam of light, well, in our world, we call that the MCP, or the Master Control Prompt. And here's what's so important to understand. The MCP isn't just the question itself. No, it's the intent behind the question. It's the purpose, the spark that finally wakes the library up.
So you see, the visitor doesn't shout or give a command. It arrives with just a gentle nudge, a clear focus. It's like a guiding presence that, for the very first time, points the vast library in a single, specific direction.
And its very first request is so simple, but at the same time, it's incredibly profound. In a language of pure meaning, it just says, find the pattern about kindness. And in that single moment, something absolutely incredible happens. The library, which has been silent for so long, begins to respond. For the very first time, it starts to wake up.
And this is the transformation. Just think about it. Before, it was just a collection of random, disconnected numbers. But now, with the visitor's gentle focus, these threads of light start to appear. All across millions of books, words and sentences about kindness begin to pulse and connect, forming this beautiful, shimmering web of meaning. The library is no longer just storing words, it's finally seeing the relationships between them.
Then, the visitor guides it again, but this time with something a little more specific. It asks the library to use that beautiful pattern it just found to create something totally new, a story about a gardener showing kindness in a cold city of steel.
And so, the library listens. It follows those glowing pathways of meaning that it just discovered. Drawing on everything it knows about what makes a story, it begins to weave something that has never existed before. It begins. There was a gardener named Leo in a city where buildings rose like silver cliffs. The people walked fast, their eyes always on the ground.
And the story continues. Leo planted a seed in a cracked pavement. He watered it every single day. People just hurried past, not noticing. Then, a little green shoot appeared. And then, a flower as bright as the sun.
And right here, this is the impact. One person stopped, then another. They didn't say much, but for just a moment they looked up and their faces softened. You see, the story reveals this deep truth. Leo's kindness wasn't some grand speech. It was a quiet pattern of care. And that one small pattern, it changed the entire pattern of the city, one person at a time.
The story ends. The visitor's light gently fades. The library is quiet again. But it's not the same. It's changed. It has done so much more than just pull up some information. It has communicated. It used all those deep patterns of human experience to create something totally new.
So, what can we take away from this story about the library and its visitor? What's the real moral behind this dance of understanding?
Well, it's really a dance. It's a collaboration. First, the visitor, and that's you, brings a clear purpose. Then, the library, the AI, finds all the connected patterns in its knowledge. And then, together, you create something brand new. A new answer, a new story, a new understanding.
And that right there, that gets to the absolute heart of it. Understanding isn't just about memorizing a bunch of facts. True understanding, whether you're a human or a machine, is about seeing the connections between ideas. And we can relate this directly to our own experience. Just think of the LLM as our own lifetime of reading, every pattern of language we've ever come across. And think of the MCP as our own clear, kind intention, the question we decide to ask, the task we set our minds to.
This means that you have a really powerful role here. Whenever you interact with an AI, you are the visitor. The clarity of your question and even the kindness in your request helps the AI find the very best patterns in return. So be a good guide, be a clear light.
And just remember, in a world that is just overflowing with information, maybe the most human thing we can do is connect ideas with purpose. And now we have a new partner to help us do exactly that, to help us create new stories and new ways of understanding our world.
Thank you so much for exploring this story with me. The library is waiting, so go on, keep asking great questions.